Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I hope it's everything well with you. I know some of you is scared because of the market today of Bitcoin. However, I am CF Crypto TA, also known as Crypto Dunk, and I'm here to calm you down and look at things from a TA perspective. Okay, great guys. So as I said, today there was a bit of panic. I know some of my followers also wrote me some DM, panicking a bit about this last move of Bitcoin. However, I'm sure, and I'm telling you, don't panic too much, guys. It's all fine. Okay. Now we're gonna look at the TA picture and decide what do we think and where do we think Bitcoin is gonna go in the near future. Now, let's have a look at the weekly. We're looking at the weekly time frame. This is a long, obviously, time frame, and we look it for primary trend. So, how is the primary trend looking? Now, if we look at the primary trend, as we know, and as I tell you already a million times, I think Bitcoin is moving in up, is in a bull market, is in a bull trend, and is in a secular bull trend. Now, what did we analyze the last few times? We know that I am an Elliott Wave trader and analyst. So we look at the market in an Elliott Wave perspective. So we know there are 5 waves in Elliott Wave. We have three impulsive wave and two corrective. So the three impulsive wave. So we had the first one back in December 18, which was the first wave. Then we have the second one, which was the corrective wave, which is counter cycle, so counter trend. Then we have the third one, which is usually the longest one, and then we just concluded the fourth one back in July, and now we are successfully moving in the fifth one. Now we know that we had the corrective wave over here and over here, and we had the three impulsive wave, and we are developing the wave 5. So what we know as well, that every wave, so in this case like wave 1, is how do you say break down in another 5 waves. So every wave is another 5 waves, the impulsive wave, and instead the corrective wave is another 3 waves usually. However, what happened, sometimes we have some complex correction in the wave. Now let's have a look instead. We know now that we are in the wave 5, so we expect higher prices, especially from the all-time high. Now we just broke the all-time high, but I wouldn't consider this like the end of wave 5. Sorry. Now let's have a look at more closely. So we zoom in and we see what happened actually today and where we are standing. This is the weekly time frame, so each bar is a week, and we see that the highest close previously to the last one was back in April, and it was around this level over here, the 60k level. What I also believe is a really important level is this last week before the big dump in May. This one was a really key level, as it was a psychological turning point. This one was an important psychological turning point. So, and we know that the level is 59,600. So this one is the first great support. Now, what do we want from Bitcoin? We want Bitcoin to close above this level over here, the 59,500. If on the weekly, if this week we close below the 59,500, then we may be in trouble. Now, let's see at another trend line, which is important and is bringing us another layer of support. We have the diagonal or dynamic support level, and it's starting over here. Let's put the magnet. So over here, and we drew the diagonal trend line connecting the last lower higher low. This one was the last higher low, and as we can see over here, this one is our next support as well. In case we break down this level over here, we have the next, and is the strongest support that we have, is this diagonal level over here, which I would suggest also to consider this level over here. So we're looking at the 53 level. Now, however, we are looking at the weekly. So let's have a look and zoom in even more to see what we can expect from Bitcoin. Now, as I said before, just before to move in the lower time frame, each wave, impulsive wave, is subdivided in another 5 waves. So we add the first wave over here. So this one was the first wave. We had the corrective wave over here. And then now we are on the third wave. The third wave should be the most emotional of all the impulsive waves. Now let's just to conclude the thingy. So the third wave should be the most impulsive wave, and it should be the most emotional. So we should see volume coming in. However, the volume hasn't really picked up properly. Why? Because I expect the volume to actually really pick up when we start the euphoric uh, mode, which is just above the last all-time high, a proper close, open and close, and then there is going to be fireworks, guys. Now, we know that we are maybe in the wave 3 of the intermediate trend. Now, I want you to pay attention here 1 second. We use the Fibonacci level, and what we know from Elliot, from Ralph, what it tells us is that wave 1 typically retraces between the 50% level and the 75% level, 78, of the previous move up. So in this case, we take the magnet, we take our Fibonacci level, we put it at the last low and at the last high, and look, guys, this one was wave 1. The correction exactly touched the 50% level, and then we had an impulse. This one was the first impulse. Bam, we are moving up. This is three white soldier, guys. This is a very strong candlestick pattern. We have three strong solid green candles, in this case yellow. So we are expecting new hikes coming in. Now we had just 3. Now we are having a bit of consolidation around this point. Now, knowing that this one was wave 1 and this one was wave 2, we can expect actually new moved up. Okay. Now let's look a lower time frame. We got in the daily, and let's have a look. Now, if you remember, I just told you guys that each wave is broken down in another 5. Now we have the intermediate trend. We have wave 1 here, which is, if you look closely, we can see the 5 waves, 1, 3, and 5. And now let's have a look here. What is happening? So we have a correction here. This one was wave 1. It was an extended wave. This one was a strong wave. Now let's have a look, considering this wave over here, where we can expect Bitcoin to lower. So the 50% level is at 52. We have the 53 level, 53K here. And let me see if we just put it here 1 second. This seems more likely. So if we break down over here, we may expect Bitcoin to touch the 53 level. However, sometimes, obviously, wave and technical analysis is not always 100% correct. So we need to look at other way to understand whether it was or is not going to touch the level. We want to see a confluence of support in the level and also of targets. So how do we check the targets? Now we know that there are corrective wave. The corrective wave, there are different type of corrective wave. We have the simple, which are usually flat or zigzag, and then we have the complex, which are a combination of flat, zigzag, and also triangle. So we have, three type of correction. Now, in this case, if we see over here, So what we had a simple correction, which was a zigzag, A, B, C. You heard a lot of it. However, this one was taken from Elliott wave theory. So a lot of people talk about the ABC correction is from the Elliott wave. And you can see here, this one was a zigzag. The zigzag also, if we look, they break down in 5-3-5 waves. Okay, so we have a free 5-3-5 waves. Now, if we look at this, 1, 2, this one here, if we go even lower, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this one was a zigzag. Now, instead, what also Ralph, said to us, the Elliott wave theory, the inventor. So he's also say that in the market there is alternation. The alternation means that if we have a simple correction on the previous wave, so on wave one we had a simple correction, we can expect to have a complex correction, which is double three or triple three correction in the next wave. So now we have wave one, which had a zigzag correction, and now we are having another correction, which I believe is probably a complex. Now, if we look more closely, and I will bring up the next chart over here, we can see that we have different correction, which are zigzag, zigzag, and zigzag. This one is a double tree. So if we take this tool over here, which is the Elliott tape, the combo, which is the double tree combo, so we anchor it to the top. We had the first correction pattern, so it's finishing here the first wave. Then we have the second correction pattern, which is over here, and then we have the last one over here. Okay, so this is the double tree. Now, to have a better understanding, so let's go down here, and how do we actually see which one is the target of this wave? So what Elliott taught us is that if we use the Fibonacci level, usually the correction travel around 120% of the wave A of the corrective wave. So this one is the corrective wave, the last corrective wave, and was A, then we have B, and we can expect to finish around 120%. Where is under 20%? 58, 300. And is again, we have a confluence of support over here. Look at this. We have many support over here. We have the last important all-time high, close. We have the 100%, so usually Ralph say between 100% and 120%. So this level over here, and exactly we had a wick over here. Now, we had also support between these two, if we connect it, which it looked like we have a flag over here. So there is a channel forming over here. We have another support which was actually broken. It was the previous resistance which was broken, which created this wave up. Now, what we also can appreciate, we have the moving average here, which is the volumetric weighted moving average. So it's taking into account the volume and obviously the price movement in the last 50 days. So this one is the 50-day moving average. And as you can see, we have another powerful and strong support level over here. It's exactly on the 50 MA. Now, lastly, I want to use also the anchored volumetric weighted average price, which is similar to the MA. However, how do we use it? We use it anchoring it to the last significant low over here. So it was the start of wave one, the last wave one. And look at this, is another support over here. So we have a confluence of targets and support. So I have a strong argument to believe that here we will see a bounce. Now, what we want to see from Bitcoin, let me go back over here. What we want to see from Bitcoin is that now we have a resistance that has formed from here to here. Okay, so what we want Bitcoin to do right now, and then we can basically use also this one to create the other support. So what we want Bitcoin to do is to maybe hover for the next 12 hours around this area, then picking up volume and start to push up and break above this level over here. We want the 63,500 to be cleared. So we want Bitcoin to break above the 63 level over here, 63,600. Okay, because this one was the last important candles, the really emotional candle and a psychological turning point. So we want on the daily a breakout above this level and obviously a breakout of this resistance level. Now also if we look at the as I showed you before, the previous important resistance over here. So we are now low below these three important resistance. So we want Bitcoin to actually break out over here. Now we are expecting a bounce, and why we are expecting a bounce? As I said before, it looks like the possibility is that the corrective wave actually broke. The corrective wave is now finished. So we have, and if we look at here, we have the last five wave. So one, two, three, four, and five. All right. Now let's take off a bit of this one because they're getting a bit too much. I don't want to overload your eyes. Now let's have a look at the indicators, which also gives an important insight on the market. So let's have a look at the daily first. So if we look at the daily, what we can see is that I don't want you to focus on any of this because I will explain in another video maybe. I want you to focus on the stochastic RSI, which most of you knows, and also the RSI. So how do they look right now? We have the stochastic RSIs, which is hovering on the oversold condition. So we can expect actually here a reversal coming in. Why? Because we are on the oversold condition. Also, let's have a look at the RSI. Why it's very good, the RSI? Because we can look at a divergency. So we can look that here there was a divergence. So from here to here, we create a divergence, which was a bearish divergence. So we could expect a little drop over here. And now this one is obviously our resistance. We can create trend line also on the RSI. And now if we look from the beginning, from the drop in May, this one was the oversold condition. What do we have over here? We have a trend line forming. So let's just put it at the extreme, just in case. So it's starting to hovering around the big support on the RSI. So we expect over here to have a reversal of momentum on the upside. So when this RSI will drop over here, touch it, push it here, touch it again, and bam, we should have an explosion over here. Now let's have a look instead at a lower time frame, just to understand if actually everything aligned in a good bullish picture. So now we go on the 12 hours, and what do we see? What do we see, guys? Oversold, guys. Oversold. We can expect an RSI flip over here, stochastic RSI flip, a bullish flip, and also the RSI same is starting to go quite deeply down. Now we move one time frame lower, and what do we have over here? The 4 hours completely oversold. The 4 hour is now completely oversold. So now we can expect a bounce over here. What do we want to see from this bounce? We want to see Bitcoin to start moving up and break above the 63 level and start moving in the right direction. Now I hope this one will help you. This one was all for today because the time is gone, and I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you to the next video, guys.